Good morning everyone. I am Dr. Devi Prasad, working as Associate Professor in Department of Management Studies, Gayatri Vidya Parishad College for degree and PG courses. In this lecture, we are going to learn about the basics of sales management. So what is sales management, what is selling, what is personal selling, what is salesmanship. So such kind of basic terminology and the introduction about the sales management we are going to learn in this video lecture. And before getting into the understanding of sales management, let us see what is selling. So selling is a transaction between the seller and prospective buyers. So here seller is the one who is going to sell the product, and prospective buyer is the one who is having willingness to buy and ability to pay. That means the prospective buyer should have need for purchasing the product. At the same time, the prospective buyer should have enough money to purchase the product. So in selling, both the prospective buyer and the seller will be entering into a transaction where the seller will be selling the product or service to the buyer, and the buyer will be offering money to the seller. And selling is the art of closing particular deal. So it is an art. Selling is an art, and it will be involving the closing of the particular deal. So here deal is nothing but the sale. So what is the expected product by the buyer, and what is the expected price from the buyer to the seller. So this exchange will take place in the process of selling. So selling converts production into cash. So this is one of the most important thing in organizational setup, where the selling process will be converting the production into cash. So production in the sense whatever the products that are produced by consuming the raw materials after due production process. So whatever the commercial product that got produced in the manufacturing facility, so that commercial product will be converted into cash. So here one important point in sales management is selling or the sales department is only department which will be procuring money from outside of the organization. So all other functions like HR function or finance function or production function or materials management function, so these functions are going to consume money inside the organization, but whereas selling is the only function, or sales department is the only department which will be procuring money into the organization from outside, maybe market, outside of the market. And selling is a part of marketing. So selling always it is going to be part of marketing, and selling is one of the marketing component among several others. So selling is part of marketing, and selling is one of the component of marketing. Like the marketing will be having other components like promotion or like identification of need, thereby designing the product, fixing the price, distributing the product. So all these are the different components of marketing, and whereas selling is one of the component of the marketing. So this is basic understanding about the selling in marketing terminology. Now let us see what do you mean by personal selling and salesmanship. And before getting the difference between the personal selling and salesmanship, first of all we will see what is the difference between selling and personal selling. And personal selling is the face-to-face interaction between sellers and prospective customers, which involves informing and persuading those customers to enter into a transaction. So always personal selling is going to be a face-to-face interaction or face-to-face communication between the seller and the prospective customer. And in this face-to-face communication or interaction, the seller will try to inform the buyer about the product or price or the benefits of the product or the functionalities of the product. At the same time, the seller will try to persuade the buyer, means the seller will try to motivate the customer for purchase of the product, so that they can enter into the transaction where the seller will be offering the product to the customer and the customer will be giving money to the seller. So this is the meaning of personal selling. So always personal selling is going to be a face-to-face communication or interaction between the prospective buyer and the seller about a product or the service. But whereas if you see the word only selling, so selling can be a face-to-face selling, or selling can be through telephone like telemarketing, selling can be through internet like online marketing, or selling can be through email marketing, or selling can be through a direct mail. Okay, so selling can be of different formats. It can be through mail, or it can be through internet, or it can be through telephone, or it can be through face to face. But whereas personal selling is only face to face interaction or the communication. So where the customer and the seller both are meeting personally and having a face to face communication or interaction, then you can call that as personal selling. Okay, and now when it comes to salesmanship, so salesmanship is a skill. Okay, salesmanship is a skill of successfully persuading customers to buy a product or service. So if a salesman is having good skill or enough skill to motivate the customer towards purchase of the product, you can say that salesman is having a good salesmanship or a quality of a salesman. And salesmanship is not just a part of personal selling. However, it is of utmost important. So we cannot say that salesmanship is the entire part of personal selling. No. So salesmanship is one of the component of personal selling, which means a skill to motivate the customer and to sell the product to the customer. Okay. Now when it comes to the relationship between sales management, personal selling and salesmanship, so sales management administers personal selling effort, and personal selling effort is enacted through salesmanship. Oh, what does it mean? So salesmanship will be through personal selling. That means the personal selling effort is enacted or it can be executed through salesmanship. That means when you are approaching a customer face to face, when you are trying to present the product, or when you are attempting to give product demonstration to the customer, if the salesman is having enough skill to motivate the customer towards purchase of the product, then you can say the salesmanship is well executed, or the skill is well executed by the particular salesman in order to convert the prospective customer into an actual customer. That means the sale got happened or the transaction got completed. But whereas sales management, it is a broad domain. Okay, sales management is a broad domain which administers the personal selling. That means the sales management will be planning, directing and controlling the personal selling. Okay, so sales management is a broad area which will be planning and controlling the personal selling, and personal selling effort is enacted through salesmanship. And sales management is a broad domain which consists of two major components, that is management of personal selling and management of sales. So the sales management, it is a process where it will be having two major component of management of personal selling and management of sales force. That means any organization, if they are having a sales department which will be the part of marketing department, then that sales department will be executing two major functions, that is management of sales and management of sales force. Now let us see the theoretical definition of sales management. So this is the complete picture, or you can say the complete domain of sales management. So it is defined, the sales management is defined by American Marketing Association as planning, direction and control of personal selling, including recruiting, selecting, equipping, assigning, routing, supervising, paying, motivating, as these tasks apply to the personal sales force. So like I said, the sales management will be consisting of two major components. You can see in the slide there are two boxes are there. In the first box it is mentioned that management of sales. In second box it is mentioned that management of sales force. So the sales management process consisting of two major components, management of sales and management of sales force. And management of sales means planning, direction and control of sales or personal selling. And management of sales force means recruiting, selecting, equipping, assigning, routing, supervising, paying and motivating the sales force. That means in the first component, management of sales, the sales manager will be playing the role of the sales manager only, or the management of sales. But in the second component, management of sales force, the sales manager will be playing the role of HR manager. That means the selection will be there, recruitment and selection, equipment means the training and development, assigning means the deployment of the sales force, routing and supervising, maybe performance appraisal, paying and motivating the sales force. So these are the two major components of sales management. So here we can understand what is sales management means. Sales management will be consisting of two major components, management of sales and management of sales force. Management of sales includes planning, directing and controlling of sales, and management of sales force includes recruiting, selecting, equipping, assigning, routing, supervising, paying and motivating the sales force. Now let us have a deeper understanding about this definition. So in this slide we divided the sales management activities into two components as usual, management of sales and management of sales force. Under management of sales, the sales management will be consisting of sales forecasting, sales quotas or sales targets, sales budget, sales territory, routing and scheduling, sales promotion and sales cost controlling. So all these are the management of sales. And whereas in the management of sales force, the activities are recruitment, selection, training and development, assigning the sales targets, compensation management, motivation and performance appraisal of the sales force. Okay, so under sales management, the sales manager is supposed to perform these two activities, management of sales and management of sales force. And if you look at this particular slide, there are specific duties and responsibilities of a sales manager. That means if a sales manager is appointed as a in charge for the sales department, entire sales department, then the sales manager is supposed to perform all these activities. First of all, to determine the objectives and goals of sales force. That means whatever the goals or the objectives of sales force, that means the sales manager will be giving the sales targets to each and every salesman working in that particular department. Okay, and organizing the sales force, the second one. So the sales force can be organized by the sales manager in the means of territory management and quota formulation. So territory management is nothing but the geographical territory, which can be called as a target market or target geographical market, in which the sales force will be deployed by the sales manager. And after deploying the sales force in each sales territory, then the sales manager will be putting or offering the quota formulation. The quota formulation is nothing but assigning sales target for each and every salesman. So how much of revenue they should generate, or how much of sales they should be getting in their territory, or how many new customers the salesman is going to add in his territory, or how many after sales services provided by the salesman or the sales force in their territory. So such kind of sales quotas will be designed by the sales manager, and those quotas will be assigned to the salesman in their respective sales territory in order to be achieved by the salesman. And apart from that, the sales manager should be involved in sales forecasting and budgeting. So the sales manager must be executing the sales forecasting survey. So here sales forecasting is nothing but estimation of future likely sales in a particular territory or in the particular market. So the sales forecasting is nothing but estimation of likely sales for the future period in a particular territory. And apart from that, the sales manager should be designing the budget for the sales department. So budget for selling the products. Of course, the production department will be handing over the products to the sales department, and the sales department will start distributing product into the market, either through direct distribution or through indirect distribution. And for the distribution of the product, there will be some cost involved, which is called as a distribution cost. And when the product reaches the market, there will be some other cost involved, which is called as a promotion cost. So here, the sales manager must be designing a budget for the sales department in order to achieve the concepts of product distribution and product promotion in the target market. So for that purpose, there will be some money involved, which will be spent by the sales team or the sales force or the sales manager himself or herself in order to achieve the sales target. So here the sales manager should be designing a sales budget for the sales department. And this sales forecasting and budgeting will be part of planning and control. So how do you plan the activities of the department, means the sales for the department, and how do you control the department? So budgeting will be acting as a control tool here in the sales department, and whereas sales forecasting will be acting as a planning tool in the sales department. And apart from this first component, management of sales, there is a second component, management of sales force. That is the last point in this slide, sales force management, which will be including recruitment and selection, training and development, motivation, compensation management, performance appraisal, and career development for the sales force. So here, as part of the sales force management, the sales manager should be involved in recruitment and selection of the sales force, training and development of the sales force, motivating the sales force, designing the compensation package for the sales force, and designing the performance appraisal system for the sales force, and designing a career for each and every salesman or salesperson in the sales department, so that they can have a good career development and planning in the department of sales. So this is the broad meaning of the sales management. So finally, we can conclude that sales management is a process of management of sales and management of sales force. As part of management of sales, the sales manager will be performing the responsibilities like sales forecasting, sales budgeting, territory management, routing, scheduling, budgeting, and others. And as part of management of sales force, the sales manager will be performing the responsibilities like recruitment and selection of the sales force, training and development of the sales force, wage and salary or compensation management of the sales force, motivating the sales force, performance appraisal of the sales force, and career planning and development for the sales force. So sales management will be controlling the personal selling, and personal selling can be achieved or enacted with the salesmanship. So this is the introduction about the sales management. What is selling, what is personal selling, what is salesmanship, and what is sales management. Thank you.